What's up, YouTube? It's Carolina Calvin, and now we're at the big game. Everything that these two teams have been working for culminates into this one game, regular season playoff. It all ends in this one game, and it's a matchup between the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks, the two number one seeds in both conferences, and a lot of people's picks for even going to the Super Bowl. So a lot of people feel like Nostradamus right now, seeing these two teams are in the Super Bowl. I'm gonna break down the keys to which team, what they had to do to win, and of course I'm gonna give an injury report first. From the New England side, not too many guys. Most of the guys are healthy. Probable. Brian Stork just, I believe a day or two ago, got upgraded to probable, so he's going to play. Akeem Ayers, probable. Tom Brady, is going to play. He's always on the injury report. Dante Hightower, Chris Jones, Darrell Reeves. Darrell Reeves was non-injury related. So that pretty much does it for New England's injury report. Most of the guys are healthy, so that or if the guys, most of the guys are said to be probable. On the Seattle side of things, probable Justin Britt, Cam Chancellor, which if Friday he had a knee injury, but they did say it was I believe it was a bruise. So he's definitely he's gonna be fine. He's easily gonna be able to play through that. Marshawn Lynch, Richard Sherman, of course we know in the NFC Championship game he hurt his shoulder. We'll have to see how that affects him. J.R. Sweezy and Earl Thomas, who also in the NFC Championship game hurt his shoulder as well. So I would say Seattle has a little bit more question marks in terms of will these guys be able to perform at the level they're normally capable of. Honestly though, I think they will be able to. So I don't they were able to participate in practice fully. And Cam Chancellor, it was a knee bruise. He sat out the very last play. It says limited participant. He missed the last play. So, I think those guys are going to be fine, honestly. Keys to victory. I'm going to start with New England first. And I'm going to start with what I think is the most important, and to me, to one of the keys of winning, defensively. I think the secondary can do a good enough job against those receivers. But up front is, the question, because the strength of that Seattle offense is Russell Wilson's ability to run and Marshawn Lynch's ability to run. So they, Green Bay did it last week for a good portion of the game. Really fell apart at the end, but being able to contain Russell Wilson and slowing down, you got a game tackle guy like Marshawn Lynch, so I think that's going to be important for them, and definitely will be important to a victory. I think they're going to have to win the line of scrimmage defensively. And they've been a team, they haven't gotten many sacks. I believe they have not gotten a sack this entire playoffs. I may be wrong about that, but I don't think they have. They have not been good against the run. The Ravens were able to had success. And even Colts team was struggled against the run, was able to get some good yards on them. So they're gonna have it tough against the number one rushing offense in football. But winning the line of scrimmage is definitely important on the defensive side. They have to be able to slow down that run. Offensively for the Patriots, they have to mix it up. They have to mix it up with run. They have to mix it up with pass. I think running the ball effectively is the most important in my opinion. That's the one way that team, even Green Bay has some success running the ball. You have to be able to run the ball, because you sit back and throw against this team, you're not going to do well. You saw Aaron Rodgers' numbers was not that good. So you have to be able to run the ball. You have to be able to mix it up, because they have a smaller defense, but they're fast. So that's why they've been so good at covering the pass. You have to be able to run the ball against them to be effective. On the Seattle's keys to victory. Now, we know all about Legion of Boom, those guys in the secondary, and of course they coming in with some health concerns. One thing hasn't been talked about is the front seven for Seattle. I haven't heard too many people talk about it. I keep hearing about the Legion of Boom. Those guys are great, and they're the staple for that defense. But guys like Wagner, Michael Bennett, those guys have had really good years. And I think the front seven is key. Getting pressure on Tom Brady is definitely important. I think pressure on Tom Brady, to me, is more important than what those guys in the secondary can do. Of course, they're going to have to be able to cover their guys so those guys can get pressure. I think getting pressure, because they really haven't been doing a good job of getting sacks. They've been able to get pressure, but they're definitely going to have to ramp it up in this game. As you well know, you keep getting pressure on Tom Brady, keep hitting him. He's been known to make mistakes, and it's definitely going to be important for that defense. Something that surprisingly not too many people have talked about is how good that front seven has been. And don't be surprised if, look at last year's Super Bowl. It was a guy in the front seven who, won. It was a KJ Wright. He won the Super Bowl MVP. It was Malcolm Smith. Whatever. One of the linebackers won Super Bowl MVP. That to me, that's going to be important. It's getting pressure on Tom Brady, and also slowing down that run game that I was speaking of. I think that's very underrated for that Patriots offense. The ability to run the ball with LeGarrette Blount. You saw against the Colts, they were able to dominate the line of scrimmage. Offensively, can they get something going in the passing game? I think the run game is going to be decent. I think they're going to be pretty good in the run game, but can they get something in the passing game? That's always been going to be really important with that team, because we know New England, Trevor Reeves played amazing. Brandon Brown, the whole secondary for the New England team has been a complete reversal of how they were last year. Complete reversal. They've been great. It's so it's up to Seattle to create a good enough game plan to get guys open. I don't think really those guys can, those receivers can get open one-on-one. New England, more than a lot, is going to go one-on-one to slow down that run game and to contain Russell Wilson. So I think being able to get some play calling to get receivers open, I think that definitely helped. Also using the running backs and tight ends. I think the tight ends can do well against New England. They have struggled against covering tight ends. Also, I mentioned the running backs. Turbin and Marshawn Lynch is an underrated receiver, actually. So we'll see if they mix it up a little bit. Won't be surprised to see screen passes, wheel routes, and stuff like that, because that could be very effective against the New England defense, making them have to tackle a guy like Marshawn Lynch in the open field. Yeah. Okay, now to my pick and why I'm picking them. It's really close to me, but I'm gonna give Seattle the edge in this game. I think running game, and I think the defense. I think they'll actually be able to get pressure on Tom Brady. I remember saying that in the Baltimore game. Baltimore was actually able to get pressure early in that game. It faltered because that coverage has been shit. Their coverage was shitty. Seattle's different. Their coverage is going to be good. Tom Brady's going to probably have to hold the ball a little bit longer to find open guys, and that's when I think that pass rush will start to get to him. So I'm going, and on the strength of the run game, because I don't think they're going to be able to have a way to stop that read option with Russell Wilson, Marshawn Lynch. It's very difficult to stop because, when he fakes it to Marshawn Lynch, more times than not, it's effective because you gotta be there to tackle Marshawn Lynch, because one guy's not gonna bring him down, not without him getting extra yards. So it's definitely gonna be a huge problem, trying to defend that. And then Russell Wilson's ability to throw, because people say, well, it's like Tim Tebow, defend him like Tim Tebow. Are you kidding me? The guy can actually throw on the run, and he can throw in the pocket. Not as effective as he is on the run, but he can throw in the pocket. So I'm picking Seattle in this game. I think it's going to be a much better Super Bowl than last year. I don't think Seattle's going to rout a New England team who, because Denver last year was intimidated by Seattle. I don't think it's going to be the same case with New England, but I'm still going to pick Seattle in a very close game. I want to say mid-20s, somewhere around the mid-20s. I think Seattle will beat them. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. This game does come on at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. A lot of people throwing parties and whatnot. You got people to watch the damn game to look at commercials. Whatever, I guess. I'm watching the game. I'm a football fan. That's what I'm going to watch. So let me know down in the comment section who you're going to pick, who you think will win, and why. Of course, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe. Thanks for watching.